The Ukrainian armed forces' successful attacks on major strategic bomber facilities across Russia on June 1st under Operation Spider's Web has drawn renewed attention to the future of the Russian strategic aviation fleet, which currently remains highly uncertain. The losses of two 95ms intercontinental range bombers, and possibly a number of lighter Tu-22M3 bombers, neither of which have been produced since the 1990s, is expected to increase the Russian Aerospace Force's reliance on the Tu-160M bomber program, which was initiated in 2015 to bring the Soviet supersonic intercontinental range bomber back into production. While Tu-160s are currently being built at the Kazan aircraft plant, however, the relatively slow rate of production and the need to replenish potentially major losses within the Tu-95ms fleet may stimulate the Russian Defense Ministry to seek to accelerate work on the PAK-DA next-generation bomber program. Considerable delays to the PAK-DA program were a primary cause for the Defense Ministry to decide to resume production of the Tu-160 as a stopgap measure, with the new bomber now expected to enter service only near the end of the 2030s. Prioritization of the program, however, could potentially bring this date forward to the mid-2030s. Tu-95ms losses may be a more minor contributing factor among several, which lead the Defense Ministry to allocate greater attention to the PAK-DA program. The rise in geopolitical tensions with NATO members, and the growing investments being made by the United States in securing its territory against missile attacks under the Golden Dome program, could make intercontinental range strategic bombers with next-generation stealth capabilities and armaments particularly invaluable assets. Moves by China and the United States to introduce the respective H-20 and B-21 next-generation stealth bombers increasingly threatens to leave the Russian fleet qualitatively behind if continuing to rely on the Tu-160M. Although the Tu-160M is considered one of the most capable classes of strategic bomber fielded in the world today, development of new classes of very long-range anti-aircraft missiles, well optimized to engaging such aircraft, has the potential to leave them increasingly vulnerable due to their lack of stealth capabilities. The PAK-DA's operational costs are also expected to be considerably lower, making it a more cost-effective asset. The design of the PAK-DA bomber was reportedly finalized in 2019, after which a next-generation engine developed under the Izdali RF program was reported to have begun bench tests in 2022. In June 2021, sources in Russia's military-industrial complex reported that a completely new airborne defense system is being developed for PAK-DA, which will protect it from all types of weapons, radar and optical, and that the aircraft would place a strong emphasis on electronic warfare for defense against enemy surface-to-air and air-to-air missile attacks. The Russian Defense Ministry in December 2023 commissioned work for the creation of a new facility dedicated to the development and testing of the new bomber. Although Russian sources initially projected that the PAK-DA program would allow a new bomber to enter service by 2027, however, this appears highly unlikely to materialize. A significant possibility remains, however, that many of the new technologies developed for the PAK-DA could be integrated onto future enhanced variants of the Tu-160M, potentially before the new stealth bomber is itself ready for service. The serious delays the PAK-DA program has suffered are in line with broader trends in the Russian combat aviation sector since the end of the Cold War. The Su-57 fifth-generation fighter developed under the PAK-FA program, for example, was intended to enter service in 2010, with subsequent delays pushing this back to 2015, with the goal of having 200 fighters in service by the end of 2025. The fleet is currently estimated to stand at around 40 aircraft, with the first fighter entering service only in 2020. The PAK Next Generation Interceptor program also remains far behind schedule, raising questions regarding whether it will be seen through to a flight prototype stage, or whether to reduce costs. An interceptor variant of the Su-57 will instead be developed to guard Russia's remote Arctic and Far Eastern regions. Although the possibility remains that the PAK will see its service entry further delayed into the 2040s, Russia's security situation raises a significant possibility that work on the program will be expedited. A lot is riding on the success of the PAK. Russia's bomber fleet, while still a significant threat, is growing old and in need of major modernization. The development of the PAK is a clear indication of Russia's commitment to maintaining and advancing its strategic bomber capabilities. The aircraft is expected to replace most of the legacy models and provide a platform for delivering both conventional and nuclear weapons over great distances. This is particularly significant now, given the recent losses to Russia's bomber fleet. On paper, the PAK appears impressive, given the limited information available about it. Its ability to carry hypersonic weapons further enhances its strategic value. Hypersonic weapons can travel at speeds greater than Mach 5, making them extremely difficult to intercept with current missile defense systems. Furthermore, it is Russia's first stealth bomber, a capability that provides Russia with a significant advantage in terms of both offensive and defensive operations. If we take the PAK at face value, it represents a clear threat to the US, providing a direct challenge to the B-21 Raider.